We start, as always, with Cowboy head coach Mike Boynton. And first, you've kind of had a little crazy stretch here with games Wednesday, late, Saturday afternoon, double overtime, then the quick turnaround Monday to play Kansas. How much can a break between games help you? Because you've had some guys battling injury. Isaac Likely, M.A. Moncrief, two very key players on your squad. How much can this little break help you?
Yeah, this time playing earlier in the week, I felt was a benefit, or could be a benefit to us, just kind of moving forward, because during this week we were able to kind of do some more maintenance with those guys, kind of get them off their feet, take away some of the pounding, get them some treatment, get them in the whole cold tubs and all those things. So while you go through the grind of playing 3 games in 5 days or 6 days, or whatever it is, to be able to come out of it, we had a big win on Saturday against Texas and lost a tough one up in Lawrence. But I feel like we'll be able to take advantage of this time to get guys healthy heading into this weekend and the final stretch, last 3 weeks of the season, really.
Now we're into the second round of conference play. So you're seeing teams for the second time. Oklahoma is obviously an exception because of the postponement of that game. So how important is it, or do you have to remind the younger players that it can be different the second time around? Because teams, they may have a perception that teams stay the same. Well, they don't, because they're trying to figure out how they can, be most successful against your club.
Yeah, and the thing I point to the most is our team, right? We're different. We talked about it, the Texas game. We both had become better. We both had evolved and were playing a little bit differently even than when we played the first time around. And as coaches normally do, there's adjustments to make after watching the tape and figuring out how to have more success if you won, or how to change the outcome if you didn't win. And, every coach in this league is going to do that. And it's incumbent upon our guys to understand that, although the teams' names are the same, the games will be played very, very differently.
So with Cade Cunningham, for example, he had 26 points against Kansas and put up big numbers, but he took 18 shots. Is there sort of for lack of a better term, a tilt where he is taking all the shots and other guys aren't involved? Because I was looking at it, I think your record when he takes 16 shots or more is 1-4. So is there that tilt level, and what do you have to do to combat that? Because you want, obviously, Cade to score, but there obviously is some fine line there, perhaps.
There's no question there's a fine line, and that's the interesting part, because everyone, on the outside continues to ask, well, why isn't he being more aggressive? Why isn't he being more aggressive? Well, he wants to win, first of all, and he knows that if he's just ball dominant and shot dominant, he's not allowing his other teammates to have the same kind of success. So early in the game, when he is more aggressive in the second half and gets to 14 to 15 shots, that's been a better recipe for us to have consistent success, because you've had guys like Ice and M.A. and Caleb get off to better starts early, and then him be able to close. So we've definitely looked at those numbers, and it's something we, as we move forward, we'll be very, very conscious of.
What do you think is the biggest area of potential growth as we grind away in February?
Well, again, I think it comes just back to our consistency inside, both offensively and defensively, scoring in the paint with our bigs, most notably Caleb and M.A., but Ice also to a certain degree. And then defensively, we may need to start looking at, sending the second guy to a post player to double team, maybe to frustrate them. We've been playing a lot of one-on-one in there, taking away 3-point shots. But it may be an adjustment we make here in the last round of games here, heading into the home stretch of the season.
So speaking of home stretches, so to speak, you have back-to-back home games against Kansas State and Iowa State. Kansas State is a team that has struggled. When you played them in Manhattan, Kansas on January 9th, I believe they only had 6 scholarship players. However, they played Texas tough in Manhattan in their previous game. The game was tied with about 3 minutes to go. They hung in there for the most part last weekend against Texas Tech. So what have you seen from Kansas State that maybe is different now than it was a month ago, or for that matter, even 3 weeks ago?
I think both of the teams that we have coming up, we played shorthanded on the road, and they both have now a full complement of players, and they both played much better since they've been able to practice with their full complement of players. And they both have terrific coaches. K-State specifically didn't have their leading scorer, Nigel Pack, a guy who can really, really score. So we'll have to be really keen on not allowing him to be very efficient, especially because he can shoot the ball so well from three. But they also have a little bit more depth inside. They've got, all their guys back except for Murphy, I believe. And so they have much more depth. And Bruce Weber's teams are always really, really good defensively. They're going to try to make you slog through it. But they played Texas right down to the wire last week, this past couple of days ago, and were very much in position to win the game late.
So I almost feel badly bringing this up because I'm sure it gets brought up all the time, but it is a unique season. Kansas State was very shorthanded against your team. You made your last 13 shots in that game in Manhattan, which is just crazy to ponder that actually happened. It was a remarkable performance. But because you have a lot of young players and not a lot of seniors, do you have to really remind your guys, don't get carried away with the first result in Manhattan? That's always true, but in the COVID year, I would think it'd be especially true to have those types of reminders.
Yeah, as a staff, we've got to be uber conscious about the circumstances surrounding this game. We played at 11 a.m. on a Saturday morning. That's not typical. We haven't done it ourselves this year at all yet. And the result of the last game kind of in the back of their minds that it would be an easy game. Will not be an easy game. It's going to be the hardest game we've played all year. That's the message that we'll send and the message that will be received by our team between now and Saturday morning.
Coming up, Jim Littell and Casey Kendrick talk Cowgirl basketball when our program continues after these messages.
Living with joint pain. Take the first step at mercy.net/cowboysortho.
For all the ways you love to play, Academy Sports and Outdoors makes it easier than ever to get what you need and have fun out there. Get free shipping on your favorite brands at academy.com or get free curbside or in-store pickup at your Academy store.
We'll make this simple. It's time to go and get rewarded for it. The My Phillips 66 app saves you up to 25 cents per gallon of gas. That's right, up to 25 cents per gallon of gas. That means for every fill-up, you're saving money for your next adventure. That's a reward that keeps on going. The app is safe and easy. Plus, mobile pay offers fewer touch points during payment. So you can focus on going and saving. Download the My Phillips 66 app today so you can save more to go more. Phillips 66. Live to the full.
Thanks, Dave. And joining us now is the head coach of the Oklahoma State Cowgirls, Coach Jim Littell. And, Coach, you're on one of those trips right now that I think in 10 years from now, we're going to look back on this one and laugh, maybe? Maybe?
Probably not.
You guys are flying. You flew out of Oklahoma City. You're busing to Lubbock. You went to Austin. Now you're busing to Lubbock. You're busing back, and you're trying to beat the snow. I know you don't want that to be a distraction for your kids, but that's certainly something that's got to be weighing on your mind as an administrator.
Well, you've got to factor in a lot of things, and also trying to predict the weather and getting where you need to get at the proper time. And we'll alter our plans if we need to along the way. Start earlier, leave later, whatever. So. The main thing is to get the kids focused on getting a win in Lubbock on Saturday.
Well, and the other side of that, Coach, is I know you've got a very good administration above you when talking about, Marty Sargent and that crew. They do a great job of making sure that you guys are safe, that you are where you can and need to be. And that does take a little bit of pressure off, I would think.
No, it does. Marty's done this for a long time, and he coordinates things through Brandon Meyer and Chad, and just makes sure that we're put in the best possible situation that we could be in. And it's that time of year. There's going to be some travel issues. There's going to be some weather issues, and you've got to be resilient and be able to adapt and make some changes along the way.
Coach, let's talk about the week. It's been a little bit of a mixed bag. You guys didn't get the second one in Austin. I know you wanted to, but let's start with the one that you did get, and it was a big one. It was that win against Oklahoma. You've now won 6 of your last 8 against Oklahoma, and you won this one in convincing fashion, and you got the sweep of your Bedlam foe.
No, it was a good win, and kids were ready to play. Thought we came out and played pretty well in the first half and lengthened the lead in the third quarter, and played really well in transition and had good balance. We had 5 players in double figures, dominated on the boards, and thought our kids were pretty locked in on the game plan for sure.
Well, and the thing that you told your kids, I think you told me, is that in the locker room, hey, congratulations, obviously on the win, obviously beating Oklahoma. But you guys won this in the week of practice leading up to the game, or the few days of practice leading up. Your kids truly did really prepare well, and I know you felt very confident going into that ball game.
Well, our preparation was good. We had a good idea what we wanted to do scheme-wise against them, and for the most part, we did a really good job. Maddie Williams got off on us a little bit. She's very, very talented, and for the most part, though, they've got 3 scores, and we did a really nice job on 2 of the 3.
Well, and you mentioned the fact that you guys had a very balanced attack, several kids 5 in double figures, and all the hustle stats, all the things you want to win those categories, you guys were able to do that. Now then, the week of preparation, or again, the couple of practices leading into the Texas game also went really well. Didn't go our way this time around, and I know you're not going to use it as an excuse, but if you look at where they were able to win this ball game, it was the 9 minutes that Natasha Mack went out with a cut over her eye, the first couple of minutes in the third quarter. If you take that time frame away, which you really can't, we obviously know that, but you look at the first quarter, you outscored them, and in the second half, you outscored them. So the absence of Natasha Mack truly was a big part of the result of this ball game.
Well, it is, but Casey, you're not going to have the perfect storm every game all year long, and it's either going to be foul trouble, some injury, illness, COVID issues, and you need to have people that are ready to step in and be productive, and we didn't do that, and that's probably the difference in the ball game.
Coach, let's ask about Natasha Mack. Obviously, she did have a pretty good gash, but she did come back. So I'm assuming she's okay, and I'm assuming she probably had a few stitches along the way.
She did, and she'll be back. She's fine. Saw her last night. Saw her this morning, and she's good to go.
So Texas is out of the way. You split with Texas. You split with West Virginia, 2 of the top teams in the league. You guys have swept a lot of teams, and you're going for your 4th sweep this weekend, Coach, in Lubbock. It'll be a very emotional ball game, but a chance to get another sweep. And again, that would be your 4th of the season, and that would equal the most wins you've ever had in the Big 12. It's a big game.
It is a big game, and you know, for the main reason is NCAA implications and wanting to go to the tournament. It's a game that we need to win, and I don't talk to our players too much about that. It's about the process and working to get ready for each game. But it is a big basketball game, no question.
Well, and finally, Coach, again, you guys have not faced a ton of adversity. You had a little bit of a skid, but you've now had 2 5-game winning streaks this season. A little bit of adversity after the Texas game, but now here's a chance to really finish strong in the regular season.
No, there is, and go get a win there and play well and have an opportunity to come back home for a couple games and finish the season out in a positive fashion. Our kids prepared well for the last game. The ball didn't go in, and it hurt us. We saw some letdown on the defensive end when we weren't making shots. So we got to be tough-minded enough that when the ball isn't going on in, we continue to guard and make plays on the defensive end.
All right, it's been a good run. Let's get back on another winning streak. Appreciate the time. Best of luck in Lubbock.
All right. Thanks, Casey.
We need to take a break. When we come back, Jessica's going to talk to a couple of freshmen. She's going to talk to Rondel Walker, and she's going to talk on the men's side. She's going to talk to Taylen Collins on the women's side. We'll do that as we continue right after this.
was a miss. I wiped up a miss.
Yeah, you
Where is the butt? Never mind, I found it.
When game day is a go, there's a Bud Light there.
ADM milling is really a part of the fabric of the Enid community. So if we were to have lost them, it would have been more than the 70 jobs that they employ.
OG&E, the City of Enid, and the Enid Regional Development Alliance were all great to work with. Not only does it allow for the growth of the new mill, but also the power is there to make that happen for the future.
Welcome in. I'm Jessica Morrey, joined by freshman Rondel Walker. All right, Rondel, how have you been adjusting to playing basketball here at Oklahoma State?
I feel like I adjusted pretty well. The adjustment, to me, I feel like it was going to be more difficult than what it was. But I feel like with the great coaching staff and great teammates I have, it just made it that much easier to perform on the court.
So for you, defense is a very important part of your game, as it is for Coach Mike. He prides himself on defense. He prides on having teams that play tough defense. You averaged 4 steals a game in your high school career. How has your defensive game kind of evolved in these first few games with OSU?
It evolved more into deflections. Everybody here is Division I player, so it's not just easy to go out and get 4 steals a game like it was in high school. But just being able to not have your man score, that's just a win in itself. So if I can do that, I don't really worry about the steals for real.
And you know Cade Cunningham pretty well. You guys played AAU ball together. What's it like getting to play with him here at Oklahoma State?
We were just talking about that at the Texas Southern game. We were on the court, like that felt like some Texas Titan days. He just had 3 straight assists to me. It's just like, it all just feels just like high school again. So that's always a plus.
And what's it like getting to play for Coach Mike Boynton?
It's a great feeling. One of the main reasons I came to Oklahoma State, such a genuine guy, such an in-person coach, and that's something anybody can look up to, and I look up to as a person, as a coach.
And there's not a ton of fans in the stands right now, obviously, because of COVID, but being from the Oklahoma City area and kind of being a hometown guy, getting to come up here not far, just about an hour, to play here in Stillwater, what's that been like for you?
It's been a great feeling. Even though we didn't have that many fans, this is definitely the most fans we had in all our games so far. And it's just amazing to fend off the crowd's energy, and I appreciate the crowd for coming out and making the gym feel like it's packed, even though it's not. So shout out to them.
So we're talking about your life on the court. Let's talk a little bit about what you do off the court. You like to give back to the community in the Oklahoma City area. Kind of talk to me about what you've been doing these past 2 Christmases.
The past 2 Thanksgivings and Christmas, because with the Thanksgiving in high school, we always went down to the Hoop Fest. So before we came back or before we left, we would go out and give stuff away. But me and my best friend Colin, we on every Christmas for the past 2-3 years, we just been getting stuff together, like little blankets, heat warmers, things like that, because the wintertime is harsh, and little foods to keep them, soaps, whatever. We just went out and gave it out to people around, just the bad part of town. And over the years, you kind of build relationships with them, so you know where people's gonna be and stuff like that. So that's always a great feeling. But we just felt like that everybody deserves a Christmas. Sometimes people just fall on hard times, so just a little pick me up, I feel like that goes a long way.
And that's awesome. Why do you think, you were called to do that?
I feel like since I was young, it's just I always felt joy in helping others out, and I feel like that's a big shout out to my parents for instilling that in me young. It's always good to bring joy to others. I don't know, took that upon myself, and it's always a great feeling to me.
I love that. That is awesome. That's really cool that you do that. Well, thank you so much for joining us. That is freshman Rondel Walker.
Thank you.
Do you have butter lettuce over there? Yeah. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you,
ma'am.
so much. You bet.
Okay.
Just try a little bit here.
Hey, Jay, can you grab that?
We'll get right on it.
Thank you. I know how much you guys love tomatoes, so I have stories to tell you about these tomatoes.
Welcome in. I'm Jessica Morrey, joined by freshman Taylen Collins. Taylen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, what's life been like adjusting to college basketball from the high school game?
It's definitely different. Just the game itself, it's a lot faster. You're playing with a lot of bigger girls that really know how to play the game. So it's definitely different having to adjust not just your body physically, but your mind as well. So
What's been kind of the biggest adjustment for you?
I would say that, especially with like the whole COVID situation, there's a lot of restrictions that we can't do, and so it's a lot different than what we would have normally come up here to do. So I would say that that's kind of been the hardest struggle coming up here.
How do you feel like your game has evolved? I know the season's young, but how do you feel like your game's maybe changed or improved a little bit since you've gotten here?
I feel like I've gotten like to think a lot more on the court. Like I said, playing with girls that are more experienced and know the game a lot better, like you have to think about certain situations and adjust as much as you can.
And you're no stranger to Oklahoma State basketball. Your dad, Terry Collins, was a member of the 1995 Final Four team here for the Oklahoma State men's basketball team. What's it like getting to come here, after your dad got to play here?
It's definitely really exciting. Well, both of my parents actually came here, so coming here was really exciting to me, and just that he's already had a feel here and knows a couple of the coaches over here on the staff, and so getting to come up here and play has been really amazing.
That's awesome. And what is a fun fact people might not know about you?
I would say that I'm really adventurous, and I like to do crazy things. Like I like to jump off of cliffs. Like whenever we go to the lake, I'll jump off of the biggest cliff. I would love to go skydiving too. So yeah.
That's awesome. That sounds like fun. Well, thank you so much for joining me. That is freshman Taylen Collins.